Alright, people, let's get this thing started, shall we? Sorry to keep y'all waiting. Let's hold on. I'm gonna get something queued up here. What I'm doing is I'm queuing up the thing. No. Oh, I almost clicked the wrong button. I totally switched up the stream key. Whoops. That would have been bad. Alright, people, hold on. 2 more seconds. That would have been embarrassing. Like that. Alright, there we go. Alright, people. Hello, welcome back. Oh, I just realized we don't have any music. Where did my music go? Give me my theme music. I don't know why, but I can do voice impressions, and weirdly, I can do a Coach Prime one. I don't know why. It's so stupid. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Let's oh, fetch. Did I hit the wrong button. Hold on. We're trying to get let me get this queued up. Yes, we got that. Voila. And then we hit boom, bop, bam, bada dip, bop, boom, pow. And then it should work. We'll give it like 20 more seconds. Boom, baby. That's how it goes. Then let me go here. Yep, making sure that looks nice. That looks good. Alright, people. Yeah, let's... Actually, in fact, let me take that off so there's no glare. We don't like the glare. Alright, people. Let me quit rambling. Let's get into this. Welcome back to another stream, guys. This is GVS, where I cover all things sports. Still working on the tagline. Not gonna lie, we've been in this game for a little over a year, and I don't have a tagline at all. It's nothing. I don't know why. I just probably because I haven't given it much thought. For example, I'm trying to think of, gosh, just any YouTuber out there or something who has their fun intros or taglines or something. I haven't thought of one over I've never thought of one. But anyways, guys, I'll quit rambling about that. Welcome back. Let's get into this, shall we? We got a couple things to talk about. One thing that I did want to talk about is I wanted to talk about the Sweet 16, because if you guys can't tell, March Madness is going on. And so I want to check in on the Sweet 16. I want to go over My bracket. I want to talk about my bracket, and because I'm gonna be honest, my bracket is it's busted. I had they've been talking about this too, which we can talk about this. I can give my thoughts on Hubert Davis, because not only him, but they've also been talking about Florida's head coach going to Kentucky, because both are out, and it's like, why? Help me understand, please, why after winning the national championship last year and going through the gauntlet that was last year, because Auburn was not a slouch. Auburn was a very good team. They had they had arguably one of the best players, with Janai Broom. I think it's him or Cooper Flag. Those were, I think, the Heisman. I don't remember what the number one player is called in college basketball. I don't know what they call that award. I can only compare it to football, because in football it's called the Heisman. But you could pick Janai Bruin, or you could pick Cooper Flag, because those were the two top guys. And then, I mean, who Florida beat. And then, I mean, they won the national championship. And then, even after a disappointing finish and not getting to the Sweet 16 because of a clutch bucket at the very end of the game and you lose to Iowa, all of a sudden, we're done. We're done. Thanks, but no thanks. Let's pack it up, and we'll send you off to Kentucky. Go enjoy being a Wildcat. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, let me fix that a little bit. That was bugging me. I'm not gonna lie, that was bugging me a little bit. I noticed over here. Let me pick up something here. Let me show. Voila. There we go. And then let me go over here, because I realized I didn't have it there either. So we are boom, boom. Okay, we're good. Sorry, we're trying to be professionals here. You know how it is. But anyways, guys, welcome back to another stream. If you guys like sports stuff, I try to give my reactions to a lot of stuff. But if you like sports content, gaming live streams, just kind of run-of-the-mill, typical YouTuber stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But let's get into it, because there are a couple things that we got to talk about in this stream. I wanted to make a couple videos because there was some news that came out in the NFL today. We can talk about Jackson Smith-Njigba. We can talk about Zach Wilson. We can talk about Kyler Murray, even though I've given my thoughts on Kyler Murray. We can talk about which in fact, let me, hold on. I think I liked a post or something. I think I liked a post here. Maybe it covered a topic. Because we've talked about Cinderella runs. I don't even know what she's saying, because she's fine. That's a fun video. We could talk about the NHL too, because we got to talk about the NHL, because the Penguins won tonight. I don't know about you, but the Penguins won tonight. So, all right. Oh, okay. Okay, I was not reading. Look at this. UNC fires Davis as North Carolina men's basketball coach. This happened 8. So about 6 o'clock, a couple hours ago. Hey, anybody want 10 shrimp and fries for $9.99? Let's read here. North Carolina men's basketball. Hold on, hold on. Pardon my French. Let me find something stupid to put. Hold on. Dude, I don't know what they're going to say with... Here. There we go. Sorry. Sorry, men of culture. Here we go. North Carolina men's basketball coach Hubert Davis was fired by the school, bringing a conclusion to a tumultuous. I can read. I promise you, I can read. Tumultuous week after the Tar Heels stunning. My daddy owns the lake, the duck. Sorry, if you get that reference, you're goated. Okay. Tar Heels stunning loss to VCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Again, I joked about it a little bit, and it was a hardy har. Oh, how crazy would it be? No, they're not actually going to do this. I threw it out there. I said, after they blew a 19 point lead in one half. Well, it was kind of the tail end of the first, and then the whole second. After blowing a 19-point lead, is it a fireable offense to fire your head coach? And apparently UNC thought so. I mean, because at the same time, you got to look. Anybody remember? Now, I think Coach Venables is a great coach. I'm skipping genres, and we're jumping here. And we're going to talk about Oklahoma Sooners football. But, with how much the Sooners were up to Alabama and them blowing that lead. And, I mean, some of the historic blown leads that Oklahoma's been a part of, like Lincoln Riley did one year, but he didn't get fired. He still spent a couple more seasons there before he went to USC. But I kind of said, maybe it could be a fireable offense because 19 points is 19 points. But at the end of the day, when people talk and it's like, what, if it happens, let's see it, because I'm not gonna come out and speculate, because like how I talked about a couple seconds ago, with Florida's head coach and how there's rumors of him going to Kentucky. It's like, why? Because I think that's what we do in the sports media is we start to, we come up with some articles, and when conversation is slow, we throw hypotheticals out there, and I just, again, kind of fallen trapped to it with Giannis trades, LeBron trades. I guess if we want to look at the NFL, still waiting for Tyreek to go back to KC. So it's like, yeah. Anyways, but let's continue. Stunning loss to VCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament, which when you look at North Carolina, who they are as a program when they were under Roy Davis, yeah, first round exit, abysmal. Which is so crazy. Another side tangent, as I give my thoughts too. I think we're in a different era. In college football, you can kind of feel it because we're in the post-Saban era of college football, where college football is very wide open. And I have been on record saying that for the last handful of years, where without Alabama kind of looming in the, the rear view, where Bama might run the SEC and then win the, and then get in the postseason. And with how we've already talked about it at length of Dabo's recruiting with the NIL. And, when you don't have a 5-star quarterback, we've seen, Clemson doesn't, get to the semifinals or at least to the national championship. And so, in college basketball, to kind of compare and contrast, I kind of feel the same way, sort of, where we look, maybe, I don't want to say we're going into the, an SEC era, because I know it was X amount of years between the last SEC titles and stuff, because in between it was scattered between Big East teams and ACC teams. But there's parts of me that think when Coach Izzo retires, Michigan State's not going to be in competition anymore. Maybe they might go every other year or something, but with how historic Michigan State has been, look at Villanova, for example. Look at UNC. Look at UCLA there for a minute. For a minute, UCLA was not going to the tournament, and then with the head coach that they have now, I think him getting to the Final Four in 2021 bought him some time. And with the amount of loaded rosters that he has had over the years, I mean, that has definitely helped his case, which I know he came out recently in like a post game. They talked about, oh, if I could have another 5 million or something, that could help. And then like all the smart asses in the comments section were like, well, if we fire you, that could save us 5 million and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of funny, but it with those comments, what we just saw between Iowa and Florida kind of proves 5 million. Now, again, to normal people, 5 million is a lot. 5 million is very life changing, but 5 million don't mean shit if you miss your shot. You know, stay with me while I cook here, but which is kind of a thought, because one video that I wanted to make that I haven't yet is I wanted to talk about Cinderellas and how the ideas of Cinderellas not existing anymore is total BS, because Iowa and Texas are in the Sweet 16. Did anybody predict that? No. And if you said you did, you're a liar, because we can go look on the March Madness Instagram page and notice, hey, actually only 2%, which were probably alums, picked Iowa to get this far, because what was the Sweet 16 matchup that majority of people were picking? Either Vandy, Florida, or Nebraska, Florida. I admit, I was in that corner, because I picked at first through the stream when I was talking over it, I did pick Nebraska first, but then I came to my wits and said Vanderbilt gassed these guys in the SEC tournament, and I think they beat them by like 20 plus points. But I said, you know what? I'm going to pick the hot hand. I'm going to pick Vanderbilt, and then we'll have a rematch where Florida gets the better of them, so that Florida can move on to the Elite Eight in the region final and match up with Houston, and then Houston's going to get their revenge and then move on to the Final Four, making their third Final Four appearance in the last 6 years, something like that. But anyways, let me get a swig here, and then we'll continue reading. But with UNC and kind of North Carolina's expectations, something and kind of a sentiment that I've sort of been thinking about is, and it's kind of the same thing with Saban at Alabama or Kirby Smart at Georgia, with kind of that era of college football, is a feeling that I sort of kind of get with college basketball, where we're in a different era, and you can just throw the umbrella term of it's the NIL era. You can throw that umbrella over it all, and it can cover all of it. But something that I was thinking of is, yeah, Tom Izzo's going to retire. Coach Pitino's going to retire. Coach Self, which, again, there were talks that, because like the headlines of, has Coach Self lost his fastball at Kansas? And it's like, are you kidding me? There are colleges who have missed out because, A, they're a smaller school and, you know, didn't run the table or go 31-0 in the MAC, and so they missed the tournament altogether. But, like, to have, now it's an expectation at a lot of these blue bloods, but to have a team that is consistently in March Madness, you would love to be a Duke, a Kansas, a North Carolina, a Villanova, a Michigan State, because look at Wichita State. Wichita State hasn't been to the dance in a couple years. What are some, like Louisville's in it, but I'm trying to think of, like, Loyola Chicago had a run there from 2018 to about 2021-ish. Florida State's been a couple times. Xavier, Marquette, Syracuse hasn't been to the dance in a couple years, which, in fact, let's go look it up. I'm actually genuinely curious, because they got a new head coach. Appearance. Jim Boeheim, his last year. Wow. So they have not been. Wow, they have not been in 6 straight years. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, 5. Wow. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Whoops. Forgot. My Hooters ad blocker was at 2021. So, anyways, back to, because this is here because, whoop. Anyways, because I don't. But I think, I don't know, with Jay Wright retiring from Villanova and Villanova not being a threat anymore, Roy Williams stepping down at UNC and UNC not being a threat anymore. Like, there's just, when Izzo leaves and he steps down at Michigan State, Michigan State's not going to be a threat anymore. And then we're going to get to a point where it's like, yeah, if we see UConn end up in the Final Four, if we see, I don't know if St. John's can go with Coach Pitino. Like, realistically, they probably can. But we could find ourselves, I think, in a situation where, like, with all these other huge blue bloods of college basketball not there, we could have new coaches like the coach for Syracuse, like, coming out of nowhere, kind of like how Florida was last year, or Bama. As much as I can, like, recall in the last handful of years, Alabama has come out of nowhere. Now, maybe Alabama fans can be like, dude, it's been like this for a while. We've been building. But as far as I've known, Alabama has never been a basketball school. It's always been a football school. And so now where we're seeing, yeah, Bama's been to the Final Four. They've been to the Elite Eight. They've been to, like, they've made some runs the last handful of years where they beat Michigan. Like, let me pull up the bracket here. Let's go back. Move. Where if Bama gets past Michigan, I think they could get to the Final Four. That's just me, because I think, because you take down Michigan, there goes the best team in that bracket, and whoever wins this one, I don't think they can beat Michigan. And kind of in the same thoughts of, well, I don't think they can beat Michigan. And if Michigan loses to Bama, like, they're definitely not. If Bama beats Michigan, then they're definitely not beating Bama. Does that make sense? Where I would actually rank it like this: Michigan, Bama, Tennessee, Iowa State. I don't see Iowa State. I've never seen Iowa State get to a region final or the Final Four. Out of this, I want to see Nebraska. Not gonna lie, Houston. But ugh, I don't like it. All right, let's go back to the top of the thing, though. Is there anything else we got to read? Hold on. Oh, we're fine. Okay. The school did not specify the nature of Davis's departure in its statement Tuesday night, simply calling it a change in leadership. But in a post on Instagram, Davis said he was let go by the university and that his desire was to continue to coach at Chapel Hill. Davis has nearly $3.5 million of guaranteed money left on his deal. Well, what was the deal that he signed in 2021? Let's go through it. Through 10-year deal. Yeah, that's why. No, that is why. Because he's been the main guy since 2021. Yeah, because Roy Williams wasn't the coach in that 21 year. Or maybe the 21 year was his last March Madness appearance. That's 5 seasons. Here, let me look. Let's look at their March Madness history in the last 5 years. Okay, here we go. So this would be his. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was the coach that year. Dude, I totally forgot. They did get to the final as an 8 seed. And then they missed it. Regional semifinal, first round, first round. Okay, then that's why he got fired. First round. And then one of them was the 19 point. Other. How far are we? Oh, we're back in 57. Yeah. Which again, look at this run for Roy Williams and all those years he was there. I think. I don't know. Maybe it probably was the back-to-back first year exits. Yeah, I totally, dude. I always forget about that 22 March Madness here. I don't know why. Like it just maybe because it was Kansas that won it, and like I was like pulling real hard for the Tar Heels to win it that year. Yeah, they were an 8 seed too that year. So again, the whole Cinderella teams aren't real. 2022 had the NIL portal. 2022 they were still paying players, and an 8 seed went all the way. All right. Yeah, to a third extension because I don't know how long Golden's been there. Yeah, but then McNamara for Syracuse, I think that's a big hire. And yeah, I don't know. I think it was a little. If I'm going to be completely honest, I think it was a little premature. I think it was a little premature, but 19 points was 19 points. I think if your all-star freshman didn't get, the hand injury and played in that game, they're beating VCU. Like, now, do they beat Illinois? Absolutely not. Like, I do think Illinois probably would have boat raced North Carolina in the next round. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes a lot with coach firings. Sometimes I think it's maybe a year too early. Because I mean, gosh, the other coach, not carousel firing that people were talking about, which made me go like, what are we even talking about here? Was Coach Few, which in fact, let's actually go look and. Let's go see if where is it? I know you're here somewhere. Oh my gosh, you gotta scroll all the way freaking down to there it is. There's no articles that talk about it. And again, anybody wants some Hooters? Hey, Hooters, I can be a spokesperson. If you need me to, I can do it. I know it's a tough job to go meet and talk business deals about food and your $9.99 shrimp deal. I know it's very difficult. I can go sit in these business meetings with these ladies and try to help them. Again, I know it's a sacrifice. It might be very tough, but I can do it. Okay, let me keep going here. But recently, like even with Coach Few, they were talking like should Gonzaga move on from Coach Few and fire him after because he's been there since 2002. 1999. Holy shit. Holy shit. 27 years, bro. That is that's funny. That is funny. Yeah, people, let me see. Is it ever going to happen for Mark Few at Gonzaga, Michigan State's Tom Izzo, powerful, three biggest needs for the transfer portal this year, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I have one. Hey, I might be going out on a limb here. Here's what could happen. How about your other all-star players? How about they start to step up in big games? How about we don't just leave it to a one-man band? And how about other players show up? How about, because honest to goodness, like, I'm not bullshitting. I actually, I wanted to do anybody know it's like video analysis. It's like Secret Base or Bleacher Report, or like they do video analysis where they have like a whole bunch of stats and like they do cool PowerPoint presentations. I will admit, I don't know how to do that kind of editing. But one video that I wanted to do was, I actually got a lot of inspiration from, I think it was Depressed Ginger or something, because he does like football videos and stuff, and he talks about just like, hey, whatever happened to, or like a KTO, because KTO also does football analysis videos. But I wanted to do like an analysis video. I want to say 2023, maybe 2020, because I wanted to do one for UCLA and I wanted to do one for Gonzaga, because in 2021, 22, and 23, I was hammering really hard on, okay, one of these years, Gonzaga or UCLA is going to win it again. Just because the seniors kept coming back. And because nowadays, in today's day and age, with college basketball, you're one and done. Like, for example, DJ, where the BYU one, BYU. AJ, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, AJ Devonta, he's not staying. Okay, he's gone. He's going to be, which in fact, like, if here, I live under a rock because I actually don't know the standings. Let's go to the league here. Who's the number one team in the draft? The Pacers, Washington, Brooklyn. The Jazz could trade up and just keep him in Utah. Hey, I don't get paid the big bucks. Hey, let's try to make something happen there. I might be a little wrong for thinking something like this. But we could tank a couple more games. Look, we're only 5 games ahead. How many more games can Utah lose out? Huh? Come on. They can do this. Hold on. Let's go to the full schedule here. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Beat Washington, whatever. Okay? Because give Washington a win so they can, drop higher a little bit. You're not going to beat Denver. You're not going to beat Phoenix or Cleveland or Denver again. Let the 2 seed Rockets and then let the 1 seed Thunder. Oh, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight losses. Come on. That'll put you in prime position to be the worst team in basketball. You lose 7 straight. Look at that. You come from the 5th worst team, roughly. Yeah, 5th worst. You drop 7 games in a row. Look at that. You're sitting at 21-57. Okay? You get AJ Devonta. He stays in Utah. Boom, baby. With also, well, I don't actually think they have Walter Clayton anymore. I think he got traded. Kevin Love. Bro, Kevin Love's on the... See, I didn't even know this. Nurkic is on there too? What the hell? See, I didn't even know. I don't care. Like, I kind of look at it from like a farther, where it's like Jazz ain't winning. So, because I know like the Jazz or the Trailblazers or Sixers or Rockets, because I know they're not winning. It's like, I don't care who's on the team. They ain't winning. Um, but yeah, you tank, you go get a good draft pick, you go pick a winner chicken dinner. But with Coach Few, one of the I mean, I'm thinking a lot about no, don't use Chrome. I'm thinking a lot about the 2021 Gonzaga team. Um, I mean, just look at how many one, two, one, two, three. Okay, we can go with this photo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could throw Chet Holmgren in there as well. 6. So 6 prospects, arguably 6 NBA prospects that have come through in the last handful of years. But like the video deep dive analysis that I wanted to do was um, Gonzaga. I mean, hell, even I remember, dude. I think I even have this freaking Sports Illustrated magazine somewhere. Stored away. Oh, him too. I forgot him. Um, yeah, they freaking the amount of star-studded cast members that Gonzaga had, which the way that their like relevancy panning out in the NBA, it's very different. Like it's night and day. It's kind of weird. Which that's a whole another video for another time. Um, but the video idea that I had that I wanted to go over was I wanted to talk about how Gonzaga could win or why they could win, and kind of basically the main point. Um, you can throw Tennessee and Creighton in this conversation as well, and maybe even UCLA is with the one and done kind of mantra that college basketball is. A lot of these guys came back and they continued to come back. Like I think he was a senior, so he went to the draft with his stock being as high as it was after playing in the national championship, having a buzzer shot, beating UCLA. He ended up going to the draft, and then the other one too. I think I can't even remember who these guys were drafted by because again, they're all top draft prospects, and so they're going to go to bad teams like the Hornets, the Wizards, the Raptors, and then from there they get traded around, go to the G League, go down, go up. Oh, voice crack. Awkward voice crack. Let me get a swig real quick. But the video is just going to talk about how if you compare this team to Villanova, you compare this team to any other national championship winning team. The only other team I think I could compare it to is UConn as of late, or Florida. Florida especially, because Florida had a lot of guys go to the draft. But like I don't know. Like you look at Villanova's squad and how many like we joke that the Villanova Knicks, because how many of them were on the Knicks together at one point, and just like I have not seen of watching college basketball, I have not seen a team full of so many NBA guys that didn't win a title in recent history. There have probably been plenty of years and eras of, well, clearly you forgot, you're excluding the 80s UCLA Bruins or the 90s, Seton Hall or something. I don't know, but it's like, dude, I wasn't alive in the 60s, 70s, and 90s to know, yeah. Oh, this is when, because didn't Magic play at like Michigan State or something? Or like the Fab Five with Michigan. It's like, I was not alive during that time, so Yeah, no, I did not know that this starting five team who won the national championship had also NBA All Stars on their team. Didn't know that. I wasn't alive. Um, I wasn't alive at the time to witness it, but that's what the whole video essay. Long story short, that's what the video essay would have been about. Don't know how I would have edited it or made it cool. It could have been a 20-minute video, a 10-minute video. I don't know, but it would have gone through. I would have like done a deep analysis of watching tournament games, and just go over like that 22 squad, the 21 squad could have been the teams to win it. Because Gonzaga, they've been to the dance. They've been pretty far. Which, in fact, I think they do have a documentary that just came out or something, following Coach Few and the Gonzaga program. But like, just they freaking. It's so silly. It is so silly to say that Gonzaga should move on or fire Coach Few because he's never going to win it or something, because the reason why people talk about Gonzaga basketball is because of Coach Few. That is why. Which we saw with Utah's guy. They're looking for a head coach right now. Someone just left. Yeah, he's going to Cincinnati, which, again, I think he's from Cincinnati, so, like, I understand that. But, because I don't know who his successor is going to be. But dude just wins the Mountain West. Yeah, they get bullied by Arizona, but Arizona's deciding to play competent basketball this year versus years past. And saw the paycheck and went, so, which again, don't blame him. Yeah, 78-66. So yeah, they were kind of bullied. But like, again, if he stayed, like, let's say that he stayed, or the next guy that comes, like, you look at Coach Whittingham, you look at Coach Sweeney, Coach Saban. I'm switching and I'm going over to. No, let's go back to basketball. But like Coach Williams, Coach Krzyzewski, Coach Izzo, like there were so many coaches where if I were to like generalize, because of what the West Coast Conference is, which I don't even know what the new. I don't even know what the new conference detail. They are going to the Pac-12. Yes, they're going to the Pac-12 with Boise, Colorado, Fresno. Yes. Okay, I forgot that. I totally forgot that. I did not, because the Pac-12. Oh boy, I could yap about the Pac-12 for days. I've already made videos about my thoughts on the Pac-12, but if I were to be honest, and again from a generalized stance, where Gonzaga was and like the West Coast Conference, we don't look at that conference in the same light that we look at the SEC or the ACC or the Big East or anything. You know what I mean? But if you have a coach that's at that program that is taking his Cinderella team, and yeah, we're going to March Madness every single year, and not only are we going to March Madness, we're getting pretty far. We're getting past the Sweet 16. We're upsetting your team, and then we're being runners up to whether it's North Carolina in 2017 or Baylor in 2021, which again, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought Gonzaga was going to win it in 2021, which is what surprised us when Baylor just blew them out. But Like, they just, I think they made the West Coast Conference, they brought a little bit of light to it and kind of carried that conference because St. Mary's wasn't winning their tournament or even March Madness games, and kind of at the same time, like it's kind of like I mean, the Florida State, and Clemson for college football for a handful of years when the ACC, because now that Florida State and Clemson haven't been competing for the ACC championship in college football, people are trashing on it and saying like, oh, the ACC's nothing, with yeah, it just, and like we're seeing a resurgence kind of now with the SEC in basketball getting a little bit more popular, but like, yeah, you look at the handful of recent national champions, they've come out of the ACC or they've come out of the Big East. Who's been able to compete with those bigger conferences? Gonzaga. Have they won those games? No. And so, like, with saying that, Gonzaga's been able to compete. And so I think it'd be very silly for Gonzaga to be like, no, we're done. We're done. Because what if in a handful of years, Miami, Ohio, what if in a handful of years, Miami restructures their offense, and then, hey, wouldn't you know, for the next, and again, this is a generalization. I mean, we don't live in this day and age anymore of college basketball, but like, what if their head coach stays around, and then for the next 27 years, by the year 2050, when Miami, Ohio has been to like 2 national championships, 3 or 4 Elite Eights, they're like, well, yeah, they made they made the Mid America. They made it pretty good. They carried that conference for a little bit, and it's like, yeah, they did, because look who, in these last almost 30 years, look who they've gone through. One year they went through Duke. One year they beat Michigan State in the national championship. One year you see what I mean? Like, it just, there are so many. Look here with the standings. There are so many conferences and leagues. I believe there's 32 of them. Like, because I can just scroll and scroll and scroll. And if funny enough, I scrolled all the way down to the West Coast. But like, if your team from the Mount West is going to turn into the Pac-12 here any day now. But like, Ivy League, it's different because it's the Ivy League. But like, with Conference USA, if you run Conference USA for 20 years, they're never going to kick you out of the building. They're going to be like, well, you actually put our program on the map. Like, look at the Hoosiers. They just won the national championship. Kirk Cignetti ain't going nowhere. Like, which in fact, I want to go look at his. Let's go look at his contract extension. 8-year contract extension through 2033. Yeah. Now, if from this day on, after winning the national championship for the next 3 years, let's go back to, let's do Indiana football history. Excuse me. Sorry, people. The Kirk Cignetti era. I want to see. Which again, huge turnaround. But I want to see the I want to see it like year by year, where it shows me record by year. Hold on, let's go. Because I'm trying to make a joke here. Hold on, the punchline. Get the f*** out of my way. Shit. Okay, but like, so he just won the national championship. Okay, going 16-0, and he's through the 2032 season. Okay, if in the next 5 years he goes 3-9, 4-8, 2-10, 6-2, 5-7, 5-7, yes, by the third year in a row that they go 6-6 and miss a bowl game, yeah, they're gonna want him out of town. But for now, it's like, no, you you won the national championship, you're staying because only time will. For hell's sakes, which this is the funny joke with Ohio State is they lost to Michigan. They wanted Ryan Day fired. They wanted him out of town, and then he wins the national championship. Then it's like, okay, I guess you can stay. Okay, like yeah. Wait, but yeah, no. Only time will tell. Like if Ohio State, because I think if Ohio State were to put together a season like how Steve Sarkisian did with Texas this year, where they go 9-3, miss the playoff. Oh, Columbus is gonna riot because that's just what the expectation is, kind of with college football, where there is a different level of expectation for Michigan and Nebraska. Like, nobody expects Nebraska to do anything this year for college football. Nobody really expects Michigan to do anything either. And if you're reading into people thinking that Michigan's going to go on a magic run or win the national championship, get to the college playoff or whatever under Whittingham's first year, let's pump the brakes a little bit for one. Because, like, I think the biggest heat would be on Indiana, Ohio State, SC, because Lincoln Riley, Oregon, and then Campbell coming over from Iowa State. hmm Because I think Penn State fans are a little bit more demanding than Michigan fans. Because I think Michigan fans are still kind of living in 2023, where it's like, we're good. We won the national championship. We're good. Um, but you look at Iowa with their head coach having I believe he has the longest tenure now. But like, they're not getting rid of him because they have had sustained success. Because you look at other, I mean, gosh, let's go to, oh no, where's college football? College football. Let's just go to the standings. 50, holy shit. Nebraska has a $50 million roster. Dude, that is, you might as well just stack all your money in a pile like the Joker and just light it on fire, because Nebraska. Let's go do something real fun. Hold on. Don't make me do it. Do not make me do it. I'm going to do it. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. These are locations, right? Yeah, at versus K. Win, win, win. I can see them winning 3 in a row. Win, win. No. Well, actually, I can see them upsetting Indiana. I really could. I could see them upsetting Indiana. Because October, oh yeah, this has trap game written all over it. But at Eugene, no. Then they're not going to beat Ohio State, and they're not going to beat Iowa. So there's 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss. And then another, because 1, 2, 3. One of these, they'll lose one of these, because I don't think, like with just how the course of the season goes, they're not going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're not going to start 6-0 and then lose one and then finish 5-0. Like, that's not, no. Which, in fact, they might drop this one against Michigan State, because maybe Michigan, who's to say Michigan State's not 0-3, and it's like, hey, we need to get a win here. Come on now. But yeah, at Oregon, one of these two is going to be trap game, especially if to this point they only have like 1 or 2 losses. They'll be probably ranked in the top 25 somewhere. And so you have an unranked Illinois team or an unranked Rutgers team welcoming, 22 ranked Nebraska. Come on, that's got upset run all over it. So then Ohio State. I don't even need to think about it. And then Iowa. So 1, 2, maybe a third loss somewhere in here, a fourth loss right there. 7-5, 8-4. 7-5, 8-4. That's probably what their record's going to be. I could be wrong. They win the whole damn thing. Do I think they will? Probably not. But you have teams like Notre Dame, Georgia, Alabama, like Arkansas. Arkansas would love to be in contention every year. Auburn, Florida, LSU. Like, I think, because it's kind of time back. I'm rambling a little bit, which, sorry people, but when you have a competent organization, team, coaching staff, and all, like, you get to be like Alabama where you compete every year, or like Georgia where you get to compete every year, versus South Carolina had Heisman expectations, and there were so many expectations with this team and this team, and like, look at Florida. Now I think Florida caught the short end of the stick because their schedule was not favorable at all. Out of their 12 games, 10 of them were against ranked opponents, so go figure. But I don't know. Like, I bet Kentucky fans or Mississippi State fans or Wisconsin fans, Maryland fans, UCF, West Virginia, Pitt, Cal, like, if their team could compete every year, they'd want to have a team that gets to compete every year. But Virginia Tech, I haven't seen Virginia Tech. I haven't seen Boston College, Syracuse. I haven't seen any of these teams compete ever. In all my years of watching college football, I was going to sneeze, not anymore. But yeah, never seen NC State compete for a national title. Louisville was those 2 years with Lamar. Florida State, Florida State's weird. They're an anomaly because, like, dude, they freaking. Oh, he transferred to the Seminoles. Okay. I had no clue. I haven't kept up at all with the portal for college football at all. All right. Okay. Which I think these two teams are going to be good for college football, because Dampier was only a sophomore, right? I think he was only a sophomore, and then we knew he was a freshman, freaking freshman, dude. So, anyways, I've been rambling a very long time. Let's get into what we're going to talk about. We got a little sidetracked. let's talk about the bracket, shall we? Um, so yeah, here's the thing with Duke and St. John's. I loved how there's this little nugget that someone threw out there where every single time Duke has won a national championship, they have gone through St. John's at some point in time. Loved that little nugget because those are like, I love interesting stats like that because it's like, that's actually pretty cool. Um, I'm going to be honest. Duke, I'm not bought on Duke yet. I'm not bought in on Duke as much as I'm bought in on Michigan State or UConn or Michigan. And the reason why is these past two games. Now, we've already gone through the first weekend. Um, I know some teams have settled down from the highs and lows of their conference tournament, the round of 64, the round of 32, and all that. Like, this is the Sweet 16. I think teams are more settled in and ready to go. Um, with that being said, though, I don't know. I really, I can see Duke. I can see Duke getting to the Final Four. I really could. Now, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough because it's like there's parts of me where some of the mistakes that TCU made at the end of the game or Siena, I don't see St. John's making those same mistakes. But I'm gonna be real though, and I'm gonna be honest. I am gonna stick with my guns though, because I picked Duke, and then I picked UConn, and then I ended up picking UConn going. I'm gonna be honest. Um, I think the best coached team, and I think the best coach out of these four coaches is probably Coach Izzo, and then probably Hurley. Um, some tells me St. John's probably wins this, and then out of Michigan State and UConn, I can see UConn, and so then we probably do have a rematch of the Big East final. Um, St. John's has gone back to back in Big East tournament play, and then like they kind of switched off a little back and forth with the regular season series. I This time around, I don't think it would be as much of a blowout if they did eventually play UConn. I think if St. John's played Michigan State though, something tells me St. John's is going to be a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more set and ready to go. Um, I don't know. So let me pick St. John's here. Um, Out of this, I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins this game because whoever wins this game, I'm going to end up picking them to beat Duke, even though these are just, ugh, it's so. I mean, dude, this is a Final Four matchup. This is a Final Four matchup. Like these teams are just, it's awesome. Out of Iowa and Nebraska, I'm gonna roll with the Huskers. I like just kind of the Cinderella, and the funny thing too is, like, yes, we label Cinderella for teams that are double-digit seeds, but I think considering that Nebraska's never won a March Madness game ever in the history. Sorry, I had to double check, make sure I wasn't muted. Okay, let me continue that. My bad. But considering that they've never actually won a game, history-wise, and they've got two under their belt, with how the Vanderbilt game ended, I think, I mean, we've seen it kind of in history. You know, if history's taught us anything with some of these teams, you know, the NC States, the Loyola Chicagos, the North Carolinas, when teams catch momentum like this, this is where they go on their run, and they start to have their run. And so, no, I would not be surprised if Nebraska beats Iowa and then upsets Houston, and then gets in the final four. But they've gone farther than they've ever gone in history, and I like how far Nebraska's gone. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna ride with that hot hand. I'm gonna pick Nebraska, and then with Illinois and Houston, I'm not gonna think about it too much. I'm gonna pick Houston, because this Houston team lost to Wisconsin in overtime. And it's harder. I think they've been tested. Both of these teams have been tested. I don't think Houston or Illinois have been tested. And so I think this is their true first road test. Houston was runners-up in the Big 12. And so, I think they've played higher competition as of late. Now, again, these games happened over a week ago, but I don't know. Just something's telling me that even though Illinois at one point was blown out Penn by over 40 points, something just tells me, yeah, you're in the Sweet 16, but who have you played to get you ready? You haven't played in any close games where we have a nail-biter back and forth. We're throwing haymakers. And I'd feel that way for Bama too, because there's parts of me where I think, I don't know. We'll get there in a second, but I'll pick Houston. Plus, I think Houston's coached a little better, and I think I just feel I know the Houston team a little bit more. I've watched them more than the Illinois team. Out of Tennessee and Iowa State, I'm going to roll with Tennessee because, look, they've been to the Elite Eight a handful of times in these last couple years. And then for Michigan-Bama, I'm going to roll with Michigan because Michigan is one of the most complete teams. Michigan's pretty complete. UConn is pretty complete. Arizona is a pretty complete team. Duke and all these East teams are pretty complete. Where I've seen when they get in their lulls where they've had a scoring drought for the last 3 minutes. We watched Louisville go on a 7-0 run, and Michigan was able to calm the waters a little bit and then get back in gear. So I'll pick Michigan, I'll pick Tennessee, Nebraska, Houston. I am going to roll with the upset here with Arkansas. I'm going to have Arkansas and I'm going to have Purdue. But you know what? I would not be surprised if... I don't think we're going to have so many upsets where the Final Four ends up looking like the 2023 bracket where we only have one blue blood in the Final Four. I'm thinking with how I think Texas is a little bit more. You know what? Right now, I'm going to pick Texas and Arkansas, and then out of Arkansas and Texas, I'll pick. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I'm kind of rolling with the hot hand, but I'm also rolling with Arkansas is kind of a one-man show, and if that one-man show starts to slow down, I mean, we saw Arkansas kind of slow down last year against Texas Tech, and they end up losing to Texas Tech in the Sweet 16, I think. But I don't like this because now I'm overthinking it. Because Texas has kind of shown they're just a little bit more of a complete team. Damn. Oh, Ooh, I don't like this at all because I don't think Texas is going to get to the Final Four. I'll pick Arkansas. I'm just going to roll with Arkansas because I don't see Arizona. Sorry, I've seen Arizona blow way too many games they should have won. I'm not trusting it. So give me Arkansas, give me Texas for now, and then Arkansas in the Final Four, Michigan in the Final Four, Houston in the Final Four. So Houston, Arkansas, Michigan, and then out of the East, I still want to see Sparty. So give me right now, give me Michigan State, give me St. John's, give me Michigan State when St. John's and Michigan State play in the region final. And then out of Michigan State and Houston, give me Michigan State. And then out of Michigan and Arkansas, no, we're not having a Michigan State final. No, that's not happening. Ooh, I don't know. I'm still rolling with whoever wins in the East. They're probably gonna win the whole thing. I don't know. I don't freaking know. But that's who I'll pick. That's who I'll pick so far. Out of that side of the bracket. Oh no, it's just a little up in the air about it. But okay. All right. And then in my original bracket, I think I picked UConn, Duke. No, I think I picked UConn, St. John's, UConn, and then I picked Florida, Houston, Houston, Michigan, Miami, Ohio, Michigan, and then I picked Gonzaga. I picked Gonzaga out of this bracket, and so then I had Gonzaga, Michigan. I had Michigan versus UConn in the final. That was my original, because I had Arkansas, because I had Wisconsin and Arkansas, and then Arkansas beating Wisconsin, and then Arizona versus Arkansas. I had Arkansas moving on. I had Gonzaga beating Purdue in this game, and then Gonzaga versus Arkansas, and then I had Gonzaga moving on. Yeah, that's how broken, that's how busted the old bracket is. All right. Let's see. Anything else? What about the NHL world? Hey! Connor McDavid scored his 400th career goal as the Oilers defeated the Mammoth. He's only 600 away from catching the great Alexander Ovechkin. Yeah. Let's look around the league. Let's see some of the scores today. Maple Leafs beat the Bruins 4-2. Hurricanes lost to the Canadiens 5-2. Senators beat the Red Wings 3-2. Panthers, look at them, getting a couple wins. I think they're eliminated, though. Let's go to the standings. I think they're out. If it will show. Okay, so only Vancouver's eliminated so far. Wild card. How many games back? So 85. Oh yeah, I don't think they're making. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be a big push. It'd be a big push if they can get there. And then look at Columbus. Columbus coming out of nowhere comes Paul Pierce. Here comes Columbus. They just jumped Pittsburgh in the rankings. Yep. 87, 86. They've done very well. They've done very well since the coaching change. I don't know. Here, let's go full screen. Because look at all these losses, like loss. Some handful of losses. And then all of a sudden, Bonesy comes on, and then win. A lot more wins than losses. They're catching some momentum. And then Buffalo, like, someone brought up a random stat where in the last, like, somewhere historically in the NHL, they've had one of the best 30-game stretches, where let me just look it up. Historically high level, boasting a 23-5-2 record in a recent 30-year game span. With a 32-6-2 over 40 games. There was something like, okay, so again, some weird with historic. Yeah, see, it was like posted like where it's like, we're gonna compare you to the 30s Bruins. Yeah, the team that's almost a century old. We're gonna compare you to them. But yeah, I think the Sabres are doing good. But if I'm gonna be completely honest, Buffalo would play. Buffalo would play the 2. No, they'd play the 1. I think Boston could beat Buffalo in a 7-game series. I really do. So, which in fact, let me go look up if we can probably end the stream on this. Let me look up. Let me go look up NHL. You know how they do the if the playoffs started today? If the playoffs started today. They do a lot of if the playoffs started today. Okay, you want to know how much these guys post and stuff? Some of these are pinned comments, but with how far I scroll down, this game was today. Where's Rick? Don't care. Where's Rick? There it is. This is 4 days ago. That's actually pretty funny. Flyers are gonna win it all. I read that wrong. I thought it said Flyers gonna miss it all, and it's like, yeah, they're not even in postseason contention. That is the most recent one, so we'll go from there. Okay, out of the Kings and the Avs, give me the Avs. Out of Dallas and Minnesota, I hate to say this. I freaking hate to say it, and I don't want to. Minnesota's probably winning that. Oh, what the hell? P1. Hold on. Are the Ducks the best team in the... What? Yeah, no. They're... What? What? Okay. They're not, dude. They're not even the second best team. What? Relax. Dallas is. Oh my gosh! Is it one of those stupid? Oh, it's that stupid. Yes, it's the thing where. Yes, yes. Okay, this would be my main reason why I kind of think that we need to go back to a 1 through 8 format instead of what they have now, because these two got to battle it out when Dallas, record wise, with the points, would deserve to be the number 2 overall, but because we're going the 2-1s from each division and then they play the wild cards. Oh, I don't. I don't like that. Yeah, because right here, like Buffalo, Carolina's the 1 seed, Buffalo's the 2 seed, so it naturally works out that they're both from separate divisions. But like Montreal should not be the 3 seed because it should be 1, 2, Tampa the 3 seed, and then the 4 seed should be right here. Boom, Columbus. Boom, 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 and then boom, boom. But that's not how it works. So give me the Avs. Give me the Stars, but I don't like it. Because Minnesota's been playing good hockey. And then out of the Ducks, Vegas. Yeah, give me Vegas. Give me the Ducks. Give me Vegas again. But I don't know. I think the Ducks could actually beat Vegas. Probably the Ducks in the Western Conference Final, which I know sounds so crazy, so stinking crazy. But yeah, Avs, and then the Stars. I'm picking Dallas, and then the Avs and Dallas. Give me the Avs. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like to pick the Avs though too much. And then I have the Avs and the Vegas Golden Knights. Probably the Avalanche. And then I have Buffalo and Boston. Give me Boston out of Tampa. Yeah, give me Tampa. Montreal and the Red Wings. No, that's not Montreal. Sorry, that's Hurricanes and the Wings. Give me the Hurricanes out of the Penguins and the Blue Jackets. Give me the Penguins. Penguins and Hurricanes. Give me the Hurricanes. No. Give me the Hurricanes, but in like 7 games. And then out of Buffalo. No. Out of Tampa and Boston, give me Tampa. And so then out of the Hurricanes and Tampa in the Eastern Conference Final, give me... I don't know. The Hurricanes have not been able to get past the Eastern Conference Final because the Panthers always get in their way. I'd pick Carolina. I'd pick Carolina. Finally getting over the hump. And I mean finally getting over the hump after being denied so many times and getting so close. So then we have the Hurricane against the Avalanche. From there, I'd just go on experience. I really would with the Avalanche. Or we could have a weird situation where we have the Ducks play the Sabres, or Sabres get past Boston, then yeah. Because I could also see, but I'd have to watch more. I could see the Wings. I could see the Wings getting an upset here, and then out of the Penguins and the Red Wings, I could see the Red Wings. I really could. But we got some good goaltending with Skinner, with Sid back. I don't know. I think the cup is anybody's to win this year. I really do. Anyways, all right. So that's the NHL today. Devils beat the Stars. Jets beat the Golden Knights. Predators beat the Sharks. Blues beat the Capitals. Oh, yikes. Look at that stat line. See, and this is the other reason why I'm kind of a little... Oh, the Penguins didn't beat the Avalanche. Dude, I was lying sack of shit. I am lying, dude. Why did I freaking... I don't know why I thought they won that game. My bad. My bad, people. Let me... Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Gotta check something real quick. Alright. Okay. Okay, got that checked. Sweet. Yeah, I read that so wrong. I thought they won. Flames beat the Kings, Oilers beat the Mammoth, and then the Ducks. Ducks beat the Canucks. Yeah, I'm yawning. Can you tell I'm yawning? We can tell what time it is. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be real honest. I think the cup. I think anybody can win the cup. I really do. I think with when you look at the league, well, and then look at this. Considering that the Stars and the Col, I really think now if it, where's the bracket? Because again, with how weird the playoffs are set up, truthfully to me, whoever, so I have the Avs moving on and I have Dallas moving on. Whoever gets out of this division and whoever wins this series, I have a feeling could win the cup, could win it all. And I really, in fact, I'd break it down to, I kind of have a feeling and a hunch that whoever comes out of the Metro and who comes out of the Central, Metro versus Central for the Stanley Cup, because the Pacific's been very bad this year. It's kind of been a down year. Just Anaheim's coming out of nowhere, and I mean, I don't know. I this is a good stretch right here. They beat Dallas. They beat Colorado. Then they turn around and lose to, Edmonton. They lose to Vancouver. Vancouver's the worst team in the NHL. They beat Vegas. They beat Edmonton. They beat Winnipeg. But then they turn around and lose to the number 1 team 5-1. I don't know. I can't. Congrats. You beat one Montreal. Okay, Montreal is in. But you beat let's say since the start of March. Let's go to the start of No, February we had the Olympics. Okay, so since coming back from break, since coming back from the Olympic break, you have beat one, two. You beat them twice, but still technically two. Three. You've beaten three playoff teams since coming back from break. Versus Colorado, who since break, let's see how many playoff teams they've beaten since coming back from break. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've beaten 4 teams since coming back from break. And Washington is no slouch. I don't think Washington's a slouch team either. Let's go see where they are in the Metro. Okay, maybe they are. They're under Philly. Okay, maybe they are a slouch. I'm not gonna lie. One of the funnest things about streaming and stuff is finding out. Like, I'll say some heinous shit, like, no, Washington's one of the best teams, and then I'll just go look, and it's like, bum bum bum. Yeah, no, Washington is not. They're not as good as they were last year. No. And I said after they lost to Carolina, the number one thing I said after they lost the Carolina series is you take away Ovi and his pursuit of Gretzky's record and the distraction of that. You take away Ovi, you take away Thompson, and because those were their two best players, because their goalie was no slouch too. I believe his goals percentage was the lowest heading into the postseason. Him and Hellebuck. I think Hellebuck, truthfully, was number one. But, you take away Ovi, where's the identity of the team? Because you looked and you saw the Panthers. We're seeing it right now in real time. You take away their captain Barkov with the knee injury, and they're missing the postseason. They're going to. But if Barkov's not playing a game, you still have Tkachuk. Tkachuk's also missed time this year. But, Tkachuk and Barkov, you still have Verhaeghe. You still have Bennett. You still have, Bobrovsky. There are so many other star players on that team. Now, 3-4 years ago, would we have labeled them stars? Probably not. But they've worked their way up to levels of, you can have them in conversations with McDavid and Draisaitl of just star caliber, star level players. This is absolutely insane that Nathan McKinnon is. Okay. Who's another team? Oh, let's go look at Buffalo. I want to go look at Buffalo real quick. I want to see how many. Let's go look at the Buffalo Bills. But again, how funny, how freaking hilarious would it be, all things considered, that the Buffalo Sabres get to a championship game before Josh Allen and the Bills? That's what I think would be absolutely hilarious and sad at the same time. Is the Sabres haven't done anything as long as I've remembered or been alive to watch Sabres hockey. Just in 1 year they get to the Cup final before 8 years of Josh Allen and the Bills. I would laugh. Okay. So from coming back from break, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've also beaten 4. They've beaten 4 playoff teams. Vegas twice. And Tampa twice. Don't plan that parade, though. Don't. Don't. It's too... I'm telling you, I think even if they get past Boston, so let's say they do get past Boston, there's just something that tells me when you have to have guys that just play gritty hockey in the postseason, because the postseason's totally different. And like, if Buffalo, if Buffalo goes down 2-0 in the series because they lose their first two home games to Boston, what kind of team is going to show up back at the TD Garden down 0-2 and absolutely have to go get two road wins or at least split it 1-1 and then come back to Buffalo down 3-1? Can the Buffalo Sabres do that? Are the Buffalo Sabres a type of team that can do that? Because I look at the Oilers. Oilers did it last year. I mean, we saw it. We literally saw it in real time, where the Kings went up 2-0, 3-0 in their series last year with them, and then they got reverse swept. Like, the Kings just blew them out of the water in those first two home games in LA, and then it went back to Edmonton, and Draisaitl and McDavid were able to even out the series at 2 apiece, and then it turned into a best of 3. Like, I look at these teams, and it's like, if Tampa goes down 0-2, or they, Montreal comes in, sneaks one, and they go 1-1 back to Montreal, there's parts of me that think Tampa can answer back, go steal one in Montreal, or go steal two, come back to Tampa 3-1. I can see that. I can see Tampa being a team that can do that. I can see the Red Wings being a team where if they did get two on Carolina and come back to Detroit up 2-0, there's parts of me that can see Detroit blow that. Same with the Penguins. I don't even want to talk about the 21 season, but I can see this team, and this team. I can see those teams coming back from 2-1, 3-2 deficits in series. But like, I look at Utah. If Utah's down 3-2 in a series, no. The Kings, I mean, we saw it with the Kings. We saw it in real time. Like, they were up 2-0, and then it was 3-2, and they lost 4 straight. So I don't know. That's how I feel about Buffalo. I know they're the number 1 team in the Atlantic. They're the number 2 team overall in the East. But I really think that when the postseason starts, it's not gonna matter. I mean, the historically speaking, and even with the Boston Bruins a handful of years back, setting the record in history for the most successful regular season, they lost in 7 games to the Panthers, who didn't get in till the very last week of the regular season. And so I'm thinking, if so they win more games and they end up playing the Red Wings and Boston and Detroit switch or something like that, because Detroit has to catch a couple. Like, let's go to Detroit here real quick. Let's say Detroit, we go, yeah, Detroit finishes the 3-game stretch against New Jersey, Tampa, and Florida, where playoff team, pursuit of a playoff. You can even go 2 more up, because they're a playoff team right now. But like, let's say win-win, loss, and then win-win, or something like that. But you have a Detroit team that came in after and then beating back-to-back Stanley champs or something. But you have Detroit coming in where they had to fight, get all their wins, and they barely sneak into the dance, and then they play the Buffalo Sabres. Oh, it has all the makings of, well, Buffalo hasn't been here in a while. They lose game 1, 4-2, 5-2. So I don't know. I'm gonna quit yapping though. Let's go back around the horn one more time. Get tickets now Oh boy. We got the MLB starting. Super excited. I did give my thoughts and reactions to Venezuela winning the World Baseball Classic. Good pitching, man. They had some good pitching. Team USA couldn't do anything when your best hitters go 0 for 4. It's not good. It's not good. Wait a minute. Netflix. Baseball game on Netflix. So, yeah. All right. What? Did the Mets change their logo? They're rocking the blue. They're rocking the blue. All right. I like the Mets logo. The Mets have a cool logo. You know who else has a cool logo? The Cubbies, the Red Sox, the Reds, the Phillies. Damn, I'm getting tired. All right, people, we are gonna end the stream here. I thank y'all for listening to me ramble. As I talk sports, go over a couple things. We haven't had a sports stream in a while, and but glad we did though. Glad we could go over some stuff, because just Sweet 16's here, and I wanted to. The other thing, I realized it too. I didn't talk about it. I wanted to talk about. I wanted to make a video on Jackson Smith. No, I did talk about it a little bit. About his contract, a preview and a prediction, to Cinderella's in March Madness. Like I wanted to make a couple of these videos, but I just didn't. I just got home from work and took a freaking siesta. So, anyways, all right, but I won't keep you guys any longer. It's almost midnight, so. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching my streams. Thank you for all the likes and subscribers lately. I think we gained 3 subscribers today. I could be wrong. Let me go look real quick. I think I had 220, 221, 222, and now I've got 225. So, thank you guys. Thanks for the subs. So, all right, I'm gonna quit yapping. Yeah, go check out those videos. I also, if you guys are interested, really, yeah, dude, that's freaking crazy. Yeah, 27,000 views. Thank you guys, thank you. But the last video I made was the Trey Hendrickson trade. So yeah, we haven't made a video in a while, but anyways, I'm gonna quit yapping. Thank you guys for hanging out. Go check out those videos. Leave likes, comment your thoughts. And funny thing too is notice how the other thing too is we complained about Bam's 83 for like 3 or 4 days, and now it's like, yeah, whatever. Like nobody cares anymore, and it's like that is why that was so silly at the time to overreact to it, because now here we are 2 weeks later, and it's like, oh, we're back to the main thing being the main thing on, which in fact I didn't even look at the NBA. Let's look at the NBA. Did I give my thoughts? I did give my thoughts on, because when you open up ESPN, it talks about UNC. I did give my thoughts on Coach Davis. Um, Ja Morant out for the rest of the season due to. Okay, this was posted like while we were streaming. He's out for the rest of the season with an elbow injury. Sources: Pete Crow Armstrong deal for 6 years, 115 million. NBA Players Union calls for a 65 game rule change. Quit complaining. No, play your 65 games and quit complaining. You know what would now this is just me. I don't know who said it. It might have been Michael Jordan, even though Michael knows a thing or two about playing cards. But if NBA players didn't live like if you know what hot take, and this is actually very very hot take too. If basketball games were, for example, the Phoenix Suns, half the time when, especially here on the West Coast, tip off tip offs at like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night sometimes. Now I get people are getting off work and stuff. You want to have a family night, go to the game. Okay, let's wait till everybody's off work. Okay. But the other something that I'm kind of noticing is I think players' injuries would be, how do I word this? Sleep schedule, but kind of the sense of if the games were earlier, like if you have a 5 o'clock tip off time or a 6 o'clock tip off time, locally, game gets over at 8:30. Players have their post game meal or whatever, and then they go home. They don't go to the club and party out till 2 or 3 in the morning. Like they actually get home, let their body get some rest, take an ice bath, continue to eat healthy. Don't smoke, don't drink. And hurt your body. Because again, I mean, MJ had a couple stogies. Very infamous for that and playing cards and dice and just competing in everything and all that. But like, there's parts of me that think the wear and tear on your body as an NBA player would go down if you are eating super healthy and having like protein shakes, rice, chicken, tacos, good burgers with beefy proteins. You're eating all this steaks too, eggs, yogurt. Like you're eating the stereotypicals of stereotypical like fit meals and whatnot, like full course meals too, like chickens and however fancy you want to cook your chicken or whatever. But if you eat like this and yeah, regulate and get like 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night and not party out every single night and post game too, like, oh, we have a game in Charlotte, let's go hit up the club after. Or infamously, you might know these players, they may have played for the Houston Rockets or the Brooklyn Nets or the LA Clippers or the Cleveland Cavaliers or the 76ers or the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not saying any names. Gosh, I can't even finish the joke. But I mean, if you don't, hit up the strip club after you drop 47, again, not calling out any names. I can't even think of any players that would do this. But like, there's parts of me that think if you don't continuously do this, the amount of wear and tear doing this over the span of your 8 years or whatever, there's parts of me that think your body wouldn't get as beat up and banged up as usual. Because you look at Wemby, you look at Jokic, you look at LeBron. I mean, you look at Luka, but Luka's weird. Luka's kind of like an anomaly where like there's fat Luka and then there's fit Luka. Like it goes in its waves and its flows. But like, yeah, these guys party, but at the same time too, there's an equal balance. There's an equal balance of how much they party versus how much they lock in and get to work. Because I don't know. Now, if the whole starting five for the Thunder, if they're partying it up and smoking and drinking and gambling and doing all that stuff at the clubs and whatever, and doing, who knows what till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning during their finals run, and like that's what that was. The whole, end of the season into the postseason, and like that's kind of like how they lived, like work hard, play hard, and like they still won the championship. I might restate my thoughts, and opinions on it, but I really think that like if your preparation if your preparation on physical body fitness went like if how NFL players or hockey players with how they prepare. Tom Brady, you can throw Tom Brady in there too because he changed his whole diet, and it did extend his NFL career for like another 7 years. Because a lot of people thought after Super Bowl 52 he was going to retire. A lot of people did, because it's like, dude, you're getting up there. You're getting up there in age. You sure? Like, we saw Brett Favre. We saw what Brett Favre was like, as he got into his older years, and we saw Dan Marino, we saw Peyton Manning. We've seen all the quarterbacks. They and Father Time is undefeated, but I don't know. Like, parts of me think that if NBA players prepped their bodies and maintained their bodies as much as NFL players did and hockey players did, parts of me think they wouldn't need to sit out so many games. I don't know. That's a hot take. That is a very hot take. But I think about, Dennis Rodman, of all the players who partied hard and just like were wild, like I would not be surprised if that dude, took a little bit of booger sugar before, games. If he played like the majority of his career, and I don't know historically like a record for how many games he missed, or if he missed any at all. Like because if you watch The Last Dance, like the dude, Michael Jordan had to come get him a handful of times. But like if he was able to stay healthy and play games with how crazy he was and all the stuff he was doing, parts of me believe that nowadays players, you can still play. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. There are some injuries that are like, Halliburton's, where it's like it's an Achilles. But I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to think. Because I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. But like a player that I can think of recently, Anthony Davis has gotten injured a lot. Zion Williamson has gotten injured a lot. Klay Thompson's kind of been up and down. Jimmy Butler just tore his ACL. Like these injuries I think are like, with those, I don't think your diet has anything to do with you tearing your ACL. I really don't. Or for example, Halliburton's Achilles. I think that would have to do with stretching before the game and just muscle exercise on strengthening that muscle for the explosion. But like if you're, you got a lower back injury, your hamstrings tightening up, your quads, your shoulders, your arms, your neck. There's parts of me that think like muscle, like if you have soreness or whatever, it's like, well, after the game, were you taking an ice bath, or did you go hit the slots with the boys and drop 25? Okay. What'd you do? What'd you do after the Houston game? You see? So, anyways, that's my thoughts. I know that's a weird random tangent to end on. I think, the history of players missing games. In fact, let's go back to the blueprint. In his 15-year career, Michael Jordan missed 158. Let's do Rodman. Over 100 games in his 14th season. Let's do Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan played 1,392 regular season games over his 19. Uh, I don't know if this counts postseason as well. 251 games in the postseason. Okay, but he missed 166. How about Kobe? No, how many? I'm not looking for shots. I'm looking for how many games did Kobe not play? Missed over 300. But torn Achilles, knee fractures, shoulder tear in 25. Like, you know, you've seen the. Where's the image? Where's the very. Kobe injury 2016. It's this. I'm looking for this photo, but like zoomed out. There's like the 2015. Like, yes, here's the photo. Or like he'd be wearing a whole bunch of stuff because like he's being and broken, all that, just playing through injuries. I don't know. There's parts of me where just, I don't know. Or okay. Now, so he has missed pre 2025 only 61 regular season games in his first 7 seasons. Has LeBron over 200? How many games has yeah, 273. Yeah. He has missed, and then in the last seasons, he's missed 153 alone in the last 3 seasons. KD, just under 200. I don't know. Maybe it's what they're eating, but I mean, there's a reason why he is Michael Jordan. I don't know. All right, people. I'm going to end it on that. Thank you for listening to me ramble this long. We're going to end the stream here, but yeah, it's getting late. So, all right, people. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Catch you in the next stream. Peace out.